Hello, everyone. Welcome to our class. Today, we are going to talk about speech act theory, politeness theory, conversation analysis, and finally, cooperative principle. Let's begin.
Hi there, my name is Eliana Condado, and I will be talking about the speech act theory, politeness theory, conversation analysis, and the cooperative principle, and also about the relationship that exists among them. Okay, everyone, so let's start talking about the speech act theory. This was created in 1975 by John L. Austin and later studied by John R. Searle. Now, this theory is part of the subfield of pragmatics, and it is in charge of studying how words are used not only to present information but also to carry out actions. What we mean here is that the linguistic expressions perform communicative acts. An example of the speech act theory could be by using just one word, using the word thanks. This way we are expressing gratitude to someone, but we can also use more than just one word or sentence. For example, thank you for the cake, it was delicious. Or maybe when we say I love you to our partner, in 3 words, we are saying something that deeply means what we really feel and hopefully produce something positive within the person we are talking to. The next theory is the politeness theory, and this one was created by Penelope Brown and Stephen Levinson. Regarding this theory, we have that politeness is a social action that consists of both linguistic and non-linguistic elements, and this embodies a social practice. But also, the research of politeness provides insights into the social practices that surround individual language use. Our example here is that instead of saying, "Get out of here, you're annoying me," it would be better if we say, "Would you mind waiting outside the office, please? I have to check in other patients. When the doctor is ready, I will call you." Then, the conversation analysis was created by the sociologist Harvey Sachs. In social linguistics, conversation analysis is also called talking, interaction, and ethnomethodology, and it is a study of talk produced in the course of human ordinary interactions. Or, in other words, it is the sociological study of everyday life conversation. Here we have an ordinary conversation between Eliana and Andrea. And Eliana says, "Do you need help to move the car?" And Andrea answers, "Oh no, thank you, my mom will move it." And the last one is the cooperative principle, and this one was created or introduced by the philosopher Herbert Paul Grice. And what this principle states is that participants expect that each will make a conversational contribution as it is required at the stage at which it occurs by the accepted purpose or direction of the talk exchange. Now, Grice's cooperative principle consists of 4 maxims. The first one is the maxim of quality, and here speakers have to tell the truth. The maxim of relation means that our response has to be relevant. Then, in the maxim of quantity, we have to say exactly what it is required, no more or less than that. Lastly, in the maxim of manner, we have to avoid ambiguity and we have to be direct and straightforward. As an example, here we have a conversation between Sheldon and Leonard, which are characters of the show The Big Bang Theory. And Sheldon says, "I've been giving the matter some thought, and I think I'll be willing to be a house pet to a race of super intelligent aliens." Leonard says, "Interesting." Sheldon, "Ask me why." Leonard, "Do I have to?" And Sheldon finishes the conversation by saying, "Of course, that's how you move a conversation forward." Now, to answer the first question, we have that the relationship that exists among these 4 subjects is that when producing a conversation, according to Shellglove, conversation analysis offers the potential for communication studies and pragmatics. So, in order to achieve that potential, it is necessary to put into practice the cooperative principle. This way, we can make the conversation can run smoothly. Now, while doing this, people are producing utterances that contain grammatical structures that are also presenting information and carrying out an action. And this is what we know as speech acts. And finally, to have a proper conversation, we cannot forget about applying the politeness theory, because this way we are comprehending not only what others are saying, but what they actually mean. And we do all this because language plays an important role in human life as a medium of communication.
Hello everyone. Before answering the following question, it is essential to know the definitions of speech acts. According to Green, one may explain a speech act as a case of speaker meaning that can, but need not, be carried out by saying that one is doing so. On the other hand, an utterance is not a semiotic composition, but the taking of a position of a speaking subject by means of such semiotic composition. So there is essentially implies an evaluative stand towards the other voices involved in the field of interaction. Knowing this, the utterances that the speaker produces in communication contain deeper meaning than the actual meaning of the words or phrases themselves. Now, citing Hydajat in 2016, by understanding the norms and idiomatic expression of the first and second language, the students could determine the message of the utterances so that it could expand their knowledge, resulting in the ability to perform the speech act. Now, let's answer the following and the initial question. Can speech acts be considered utterances? First, I have to say that an action performed by an utterance is called speech acts. So, yes, speech acts are considered utterances because they serve a function in communication, like greeting, declaration, invitation, and others. Thank you. Now I leave you with my partner Eliana.
Hello, everyone. I am Eliana Fernandez, and I have a question for you guys. How are inferences, presuppositions, and implicatures interrelated? Well, in order to answer this question, let's understand what these terms mean. According to Norman and Vong, an inference is defined as information that is not expressed explicitly by the text but that can be derived from the text on the basis of the comprehender's knowledge and that is encoded into the representation the comprehender constructs of the text. Now, let's see how inference works. Tom saw that the sandwich he left on the table was gone. Then he saw crumbs lead to his dog bed. What do you think he could infer? Exactly, that the dog eats the sandwich. On the other hand, we have presuppositions. Levinson explains that a presupposition is any kind of background assumption against which an action, theory, expression, or utterance makes sense or is rational. Here we have this example. Daisy stopped eating pizza for breakfast. Here we can presuppose that Daisy used to eat pizza for breakfast. Last but not least, implicatures. Grice expressed that implicature refers to the inferencing process by means of which the meaning of utterance are interpreted in relation of their context of use. Here we have this example. Aliana, are you going to the park tomorrow? Eva, I have an appointment. Here, Eva meant that she's not going to the park by saying that she has an appointment, but she did not say that she is not going to the park. Grice introduced the technical terms implicate and implicator for the case in which what the speaker said is distinct from what the speaker theory mean or imply. Thus, Eva implicated that she's not going, and that she's not going was her implicator. Now, leave us in the comments what other situations can you imagine where inferences, presuppositions, and implicators can be presented. Okay, after understanding how each of them works, can you see how the three of them are interrelated? Well, this happens because they can be described as pragmatic implication. This phenomenon occurs because in semantic it is important to distinguish senses and entailments from generalized information. For this reason, it is essential to take into account the degree to which sentence meaning determines what is said. Also, it is imperative to mention that presuppositions and implicatures are types of inference. Now, I leave you
Hello,
with my
everyone.
partner,
My
Eva.
name is Eva Contreras, and I am going to answer this question. In the first place, we have to know what is the principle of expressibility. According to the Sealer, whatever can be met can be said. It is understood, has the postulate that the transformation of implicit speech into explicit ones is always possible, given the assumption that the speaker is speaking literally and what the context is appropriate. The principle of expressibility should be understood as saying something about the conceptual context of experience. The problem of meaning and saying and the principle of expressibility philosophy of language distinguish between the meaning of a sentence and of an utterance, between what is said and what the speaker means or intends to say by uttering a sentence or expression. Generally, one could say that to mean something is only used when something has gone wrong with what was said, or when the expression have not been used in the normal way. The general form of such cases is, for example, you said that, but I meant this. The first consists of accidental differences between saying and meaning. There are accidental because there are not cases of systematic misunderstanding. There may be mistakes, slips of the tongue, or incompetence on the side of the speaker. The speaker may miss the literal meaning of an expression, or he may confuse an expression with another. Now I'm going to talk about the notion of context. According to the notion of context in a language education, the context is some sort of environment. It's what's going on around, where language is somehow involved. It differs with the other theories, for example, with the copyright principle because it sets norms that are expected to be followed in conversations. But the notion of context is more about what people actually read, listen to, say, and write when they are being educated, what are expected to achieve through using language. Thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comments in order for us to answer as soon as possible.